at it again, and I've got an interesting one for you guys today. We've got Elon Musk, AOC, and Jake Tapper. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you are new, and let's dive in. Now, as you guys already know, there are a lot of people pouring over our southern border. You know, Democrats would like to say that it's either not happening or it's all secure. Well, Elon Musk recently made a trip down to the southern border. And I mean, listen, I'm just going to show y'all this clip because this one, I've seen a lot of clips from in and around our southern border, but this one is just absolutely a head scratcher. I gotta turn the music off because, yeah, I don't want any copyright, but look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. What is going on here? I mean, like, I understand. Look, seriously, I understand that he is outnumbered, but tackle somebody. I mean, you should have zip ties or something. I know you don't have enough handcuffs, but like, what is the point of you even being there if you're not going to do anything? Literally, this is wasted tax money. Wasted tax money. What is he doing? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me? Well, what exactly was he? And like I said, I understand he's outnumbered. But arrest somebody. I mean, he reached for the guy that was on the fence, and then he felt like he kind of gave like a half-hearted reach, like, oh, yeah, whatever. You know, grab somebody at least. My goodness. I'm not saying you have to catch everybody, but catch somebody. And Elon Musk made a trip to the border, and I'm not going to show you guys this whole video because it's quite long, probably only just a minute or two of it. But somebody else had a problem with him making this video.
Yeah, so here we are at Eagle Pass, and we're going to be meeting with the sort of major officials and law enforcement responsible for the border, and you'll hear directly from them and see exactly what's going on for yourself. So with that, let's begin.
Yes, I'm Tony Gonzalez. I'm the local congressman here in the district. My district is 823 miles of the southern border, places like Eagle Pass, El Paso, Uvalde, Del Rio. We've been at the epicenter of this border crisis. What I really like to share is a lot of my sheriffs and local elected officials are being forgotten. Their stories aren't getting out. Some stories are, but a lot of stories aren't. The first person I'd like to hear from is Randy Brown, who is the sheriff of Medina County. It's about an hour away from, about 100 miles away from here. And Randy's behind us now. You want to come over here, Randy? And the question I have is what's happening in your county? This is 100 miles away.
And just imagine, like, you're just talking to America here, and people just want to understand exactly what's going on, but assume that people do not know what's going on.
Well, you got to go back some time, and whenever the open border policies from the White House kind of got thrown out there, we've been overrun.
How long ago was that?
What year was that?
2 years ago.
2 years
We're on our
ago.
third year.
We've been battling it for 2 years, and
okay.
So
you're saying there's been an open border policy essentially for the past 2 years?
It was an invitation.
An invitation.
That's how I read it. That's how it was told from the White House. So
okay.
They don't have a clue what's going on here, I don't think, because if they did, maybe they would care. Maybe they wouldn't. I don't know.
How does the train impact you? Because the trains have been a big story lately. There's a train just over here. This is kind of where it starts, Elon.
Okay.
Where you see, you know, all these thousands of people on a train. This is where they're coming through, but it doesn't end here. It just starts here. Yeah. Medina County is where they're going to make it to the big cities like San Antonio.
Two major rail lines come through my county, and on those the illegals ride. They actually control the trains because they know how to crank down the brake on the car so that when it passes a heat sensor, the conductor has to stop the train, the illegals get off, the people come to get them, and all the stolen vehicles they're stealing from all over the country. Nearly every one of them is in a stolen vehicle.
Okay.
So then we get involved, and then they're trespassing on private property.
Okay.
And when you do get behind the road, they run through fences, they run over equipment. Irrigation stuff is important to the farmers. They run over their equipment, they tear it up. We tear up vehicles trying to hold the line. We're trying to hold the line 100 miles away because the line is not getting held in. Because It's not that complicated to close the border. It really isn't. And that's the aggravating part. I think any sheriff will tell you the same thing.
The border's closed. The border's closed. It's closed. But of course, you know, AOC had a problem with Elon Musk going to the border. What's funny about this photo, the House is holding important votes in D.C. tonight. People are scrambling to avoid a shutdown, but this Republican congressman decided to skip town to joyride with a billionaire when his own party has just a single-digit margin and needs his vote. Sounds like somebody is a little salty. But, you know, it's bad. It's really, really bad, you know, when even CNN's Jake Tapper is calling out Democrats on their BS when it comes to the border. Y'all gotta watch this video. Check this out.
So Republicans' biggest criticism of the bipartisan Senate spending bill, this compromise that's being worked over on the other side of Capitol Hill, is that it does not contain additional funding for border security. Right now, the U.S. is facing a crisis at the border, and this historic wave of Venezuelan migrants crossing into the U.S. The U.S. cannot deport most of them, or any of them really, because of the frosty diplomatic relations with Venezuela. More than 7.7 million people have fled Venezuela. There's no sign this is slowing down. Do you agree that something needs to be done? Diplomatic relations with Venezuela. More than 7.7 million people have fled Venezuela. There's no sign this is slowing down. Do you agree that something needs to be done about our border, that it's just not sustainable? I mean, we see, you know, these governors, and I'm sure you disapprove of the tactic, but they're sending migrants into places like Massachusetts, like New York, like California, and these cities are having trouble keeping up. The Republican governors say things like, we're just giving you a taste of what we have to deal with.
Well, I certainly disagree with any people, and certainly our most vulnerable who are fleeing great destabilization and violence and corruption from being used as political pawns. No doubt about it, our border is secure. And we're in the midst of a humanitarian crisis, and we have to fix a broken system.
Wait,
and
you think it is secure? You think the border is secure, or it is not secure?
I believe that we are in the midst of a humanitarian crisis, and there needs to be federal investment to support those migrant families. And I work with a number of those community-based organizations on the ground, and they need more support. They need more federal support. This is a humanitarian crisis. And
notice how she didn't answer the question.
It's the consequence of a number of longstanding broken policies that you know, are very consequential for asylum seekers, TPS holders, and DACA recipients writ large. But that is a conversation for another day.
Sure, I don't disagree with this being a humanitarian crisis at all. But just to get some clarity on this, and sure, that's a conversation for another day. But do you think that the border is secure? Is that what you said?
Yes, the border is secure. And we're in the midst of a humanitarian crisis that has been created by a broken system. And in the meantime, we need federal investment.
This is just laughable stuff, man. Even Jake is like, wait, what? You can't be serious, right? I'm on your side, but I know this is BS. You can't make this stuff up. And then she tries to get back to her talking point, you know, that she's been handed from, you know, the elites of the DNC. It's a humanitarian crisis. Well, it's a crisis that we don't have to fucking deal with. How about that? Let their own country deal with it. Excuse my language, but this stuff is just getting ridiculous. Like, you literally sit there with a smirk on your... I almost cursed again. You sit there with a smirk on your face, right? She's sitting there smirking. I'm just gonna play the video. This stuff is just...
to support my constituents and those who call the MA 7th home writ large, which is why we need to prevent a government shutdown. I want to center the humanity, the dignity, the safety, and the needs of everyone, which is why we should not have a government shutdown. It will be deeply consequential. It will create a dire situation for families, many that are already...
No, well, most people won't even notice that it's happening. Shut the whole thing down. Shut the whole thing down. You even have some Republicans saying, oh, well, a shutdown is terrible. Like Dan Crenshaw, who, you know, I called him out when they were voting on the Speaker of the House whole situation. You know, if you don't know who Dan Crenshaw is, I don't know where he's from, but he's the Republican that has the patch over his eye. That's Dan Crenshaw. But yeah, I saw, oh my goodness, I'm just so sick and tired of this. Shut the whole government down. I don't care. I don't care. Shut the whole thing down until Uncle Trump takes office again. Shut it down. Y'all aren't doing anything for us anyway. You're doing stuff for everybody else except the American people. It's off with the American people. Everybody else comes first. Hey, you know, hey, if you're overseas in some country that's being, you know, torn apart, yeah, you come first. If you come from another country and want to walk across our southern border, you come first. If you're homeless out on the streets and you're a veteran, yeah. You know, this stuff has just gotten ridiculous, man. It's just, oh my goodness. Shut the whole thing down. I don't care. I don't care. I don't.
He's struggling.
But if you have millions of undocumented migrants coming into the country, how is the border secure?
Jake, this is not a new crisis. It does require more political will and commitment. It is a humanitarian crisis. We should treat it as such. And again, representing one of the most diverse constituencies in the country. And in fact, I chair the House Haiti Caucus. I represent the third largest Haitian diaspora in the country. And what I see on the ground is community-based organizations and municipalities who need federal support.
I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying, except for the idea that the border is secure. I mean, if you have people crossing the border, it's just by definition not secure. If you have people coming to the United States, in fact, I mean, one of the arguments being made, and I think it's an argument worth considering, is that because our border is so porous, millions of people make this very unsafe journey. Millions of people give money to people who prey on them, coyotes, and take them on these journeys to cross into the United States, preying on them, vulnerable people. And that's because the border is not secure. Because it is not secure, they go on this journey. And one of the arguments that is made, and maybe you disagree with it, is that the border should be secure so as to discourage people from making this journey. So that if people want to try to come to the United States and declare asylum and seek asylum, they go through the proper corridors and not just try to cross illegally. But it just seems like just such a refusal to acknowledge reality, just to say that the border is secure when we all know millions of people are crossing the border illegally every year.
Jake, and that is a consequence of a number of things. We have climate refugees, people that have been disabled in regions that are destabilized by extreme weather events.
Sure.
We have people that are violence and corruption.
Yep.
And so we just have to acknowledge why someone would leave their native country and their family and risk so much. It is
100%.
Because they are in pain. And asylum is a human right. And so we must do better and more by TPS holders, by DACA recipients and asylum seekers. And we must do more and better by those who already call this country home, who stand to really struggle if there is a Republican government shutdown that could have been avoided if the Republicans knew how to govern. But
of course, spin it back to Republicans. Spin it back to Republicans. You got to do that. But we aren't taking the bait. We aren't listening to the BS. Stop it with your nonsense.
Instead, they lead from a place of contempt, callousness, and cluelessness, and they continue to play to the most extreme parts of their base, political gamesmanship, playing with people's lives. And I'm not here for it. And that is also why, given how many people are struggling, I'm calling on the to not resume student loan payments October 1st if we are in a government shutdown.
Okay. It sounds like in there you acknowledged that there are millions of people crossing the border illegally, which would mean that the border is not secure. But I mean, I don't disagree with any of the points you made about these people are trying to seek better lives and they're escaping all sorts of horrible things. But would you grant me the point that the border is not secure?
Jake, that is a conversation for another day. Right now, I'm squarely.
Oh my goodness! Just shut the whole thing off. Just shut it off. Just shut it off. This stuff is just ridiculous. You know, do I need to say anymore? I mean, I guess shout out to Jake. You know, he actually made a good point there and stuck to it. He kept, you know, bringing it back. He kept circling back, in the words of Miss Saki, you know, back to that all-important subject of, is it secure? It's not really secure, is it? You know, and of course she did her little dancing and tried to make her talking points come through and circle it back to Republicans. It's all Republicans, Republicans, Republicans. If there's a shutdown, it's going to be terrible. No, it won't. I don't, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't, I believe the average American will not even realize that there was a shutdown. The only reason why they'll know is because Democrats have been screaming at the top of their lungs. Democrat politicians have been screaming at the top of their lungs about the shutdown. That's just my humble opinion. Maybe I'm a bozo. That's definitely possible. Y'all let me know in the comment section, but this stuff has just gotten ridiculous. Shout out to Elon Musk for doing something that even the mainstream media isn't doing. When is the last time you saw, you know, the mainstream media really going down to the border and doing what Elon Musk did? Can anybody tell me? Other than maybe Fox, of course. And even them, man. You know what I mean? But when's the last time you saw mainstream media go down there and record it all? I haven't. I have yet to see it, other than Fox. Anybody else? Maybe I missed it. Maybe I've missed it. It's definitely possible, but stuff has gotten ridiculous, man. And like I said, you know it's bad when even CNN is calling you out on it. But as always, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.